Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
It's time for basketball, and Uber Eats is dropping deals on game day favorites to keep you locked in on the action. Like when you're craving a buzzer beater, but also buffalo wings. Or when an upset makes you want to ugly cry into a pizza. And right now, Uber Eats has game day deals from Burger King, Buffalo Wild Wings, KFC, and hundreds more local favorites. So you can keep your eyes on the ball and your hands on a burger. Order now, only on Uber Eats. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
I trust that's not the brain hormone that creature's drinking. Good boy. Nice boy. That's a good creature. Now, let's talk this over. I can get you diseases. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Hello and welcome to Unequal Sequel. My name is Dave and I'm one of the two hosts of this sizzling podcast.
And I'm Rich and I'm the other host of this sizzling podcast. Think of me as the Falcon to Dave's Winter Soldier because I've got big metal wings and he's a one-armed psychopath who's thinking about running for Congress.
Yeah, partially true. The premise of Unequal Sequel is very simple. We ask our guests their best ever sequel, worst ever sequel, and finally their dream sequel.
And of course, we sometimes drift off and talk about other things. Sometimes movies, sometimes just life in general.
And sometimes we do drop big fat spoilers to films you may not have seen. So if you don't want them ruined, pause, flick forward, go away, check your printer ink. It always catches you out when you go to print something, right? And then you're like, oh, I've got no printer ink. This is me telling you to check your printer ink. Because on today's episode, we are joined by Stuart Heritage.
Stuart is an incredible writer and journalist. He writes all about film, TV and music for The Guardian. I'm sure you would have read some of his film stuff at some point. But he also writes incredible children's books and even books for grown-ups, especially Bold Men.
Yeah. We're very excited to sit down with Stu and chat all things sequels with him.
These are Stuart Heritage's Unequal Sequels. Enjoy.
What is the first ever sequel you remember seeing?
Oh, good. Yeah, it was Return to Oz.
Okay. This has come up before. This has been picked as someone's best sequel.
Well,
but also,
stupid.
Dave is ridiculously scared of that movie.
Yes, I am.
This is my experience of it.
What age were you?
Did it come out in 1985?
I think so, something like that. The year I was born.
4 or 5 when it came out. And my uncle, who I can only assume hasn't had any experience with children before then, decided to take me to the cinema in Margate to see it.
Yeah.
And I cried and screamed so loudly that we didn't make it. I don't even think we made it to halfway.
Oh, wow.
I don't blame you. It's terrifying, isn't it?
It's so scary. Everything about it's well, I haven't seen it since actually. So maybe I've toughened up. But all I can remember is being fully petrified and screaming, and the sense. I mean, I've got kids now, so I know it. Like when your kids are embarrassing you in front of a crowd, you're like, right, got to get out, get out. And that was me. I was having it was like I'd had a full breakdown. I'd only had that once before. That was when my dad took me to Wookiee Hole and told me there was a witch there.
Your family, are they brothers by any chance? Your uncle and your dad?
No, they're not. They're different sides of the family. So I'm just from both branches of my family are just horrible people who want to terrify me.
What I love about this is that you still have to. You've never gone back and watched Return to Oz.
No.
Okay.
Saying it out loud makes me sound incredibly pathetic.
No. Which bit did it? Are you petrified? I've got a thing about puppets. So anything like that, or Labyrinth, I'm very scared of, or stuff like that. Again, these are things I watched when I was way too young, probably like you. But is there anything that you remember when you were 4 or 5 that you're like, nope, that's too much?
I honestly can't remember. I think it was the creatures. It was the creature design mainly. and it just had an ominous sense throughout from my 40-year-old memory of this thing. And I can only assume that my uncle thought it was, the Wizard of Oz is a nice thing.
Yes.
The same as that. Although I went to, I know people who work in bookshops, and apparently that's a brag, isn't it? That since Wicked came out, there's been a bunch of people like trying to buy the book Wicked for their kids.
Really? Okay.
And the booksellers I know are like firmly against it because it's a lot more sort of S&M-y and it's a lot like graphic vivisection and stuff in it. So I think the whole Oz world is scary, and the Wizard of Oz is the only sort of palatable part of it.
So have you gone back to the normal Oz, which I've just forgotten the name of?
The Wizard of Oz.
Thank you.
The Wizard of Oz.
I was like, welcome to Oz. Wizard of Oz. Have you gone back to that? Have you watched that since?
Yes, and that's fine. Although, oh God, I just watched this an amazing YouTube video called it's called something like "Everything About the Making of Wizard of Oz Was a Shit Show."
Yeah,
and it's incredible. It's like a very, very well produced 30-minute documentary, basically about all the terrible things that happened. So there were like explosions. The witch was caught in an explosion so bad that she had to have a hysterectomy. The director took Judy Garland off backstage and like physically slapped her.
Yeah, I heard that. They weren't nice to her.
Yeah. Oh, they force-fed her diet pills and all sorts, didn't they? They were horrible to her.
It's such an unbelievable... The Tin Man breathed in the silver paint that was on it, the first Tin Man, and had to leave production because he basically was poisoned by his own makeup. The whole thing is like unthinkably awful. But that's the only nice film. So maybe that's the key. If you treat your stars incredibly badly, you get a nice children-friendly film.
All that horrible stuff going on, you can kind of see how they decided to make Return of the Oz so dark and started off with what's her face in like a mental asylum pretty much, and they're going
yeah, that is quite harsh, isn't it?
Yes,
starting her off in a mental hospital,
and they're going to lobotomize her or whatever, and then the wheelies are particularly scary. Me and Richard have watched it quite recently, Stu, so we're big brave boys, and we can tell you that it is pretty terrifying pretty much all the way through.
It's fine.
It's terrifying. And people seem to have liked it since and liked it. I have to ask now, have you watched Wicked?
I did, yeah. I went to see it by myself.
You're a cool guy, Stu.
Yeah, I mean, really, really hip. The other dads at the school gates were really jealous of me when I told them.
Why did you go and see it by yourself?
Well, I just feel like I have an obligation to go and see all the films that are likely to be Oscar nominated.
Oh, okay.
I feel like professionally, I should try and see everything. So yeah, and I'm not proud to admit it. I slept quite a lot.
It's 3 hours long. I think that's fine.
So long.
There seems to be a few people going into that film that either they go into it thinking it's going to be rubbish and they ended up liking it or loving it. And, there was this trend on TikTok or Instagram of men going in and then crying and showing that they're crying at the end. And then there's these people like this is just going to be rubbish and fall asleep. I didn't think it was bad. It's far too fucking long for me, like 3 hours. It took a while to get to the defying gravity bit. And then for lots of people to find out it is only a part one of two films is as a surprise.
Because everyone loves that.
Yeah. God, that's both of them together. That's basically the Brutalist Plus. That's going to be 6 hours of oh God.
Have you seen the Brutalist, by the way?
I haven't. I'm going to see it on Friday.
Are you excited?
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't got time for that.
I'm also going to go and see it on Friday.
Are you?
Yeah.
I love the idea of an interval in a movie. The last film I had with an interval, I think, was the Hateful Eight, the Tarantino film. And it was really nice to have an interval in the middle.
Do you know what needed an interval?
Batman.
The Batman.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say
Matt Reeves,
that.
The Batman. I had to go there for a wee at least twice with that movie. That needed an interval.
So we're all watching the Oscar films because of your job and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy that?
I do. most of the time. I can't remember the last sort of Oscar film I really disliked. I didn't like Coda, and that ended up winning best picture, didn't it?
It did.
That was it. Just felt like a TV movie,
which essentially it sort of is. Like it's a Netflix movie, isn't it? Yeah,
Apple, I think.
Oh, Apple.
But yeah, it was great. I got to go to the Oscars last year for work.
What?
I know, it was properly amazing. I don't think it'll ever happen again. But I was watching all the Oscar films on the plane over. So that felt quite special.
Yeah, I bet it did. What was the whole day like? I know we're meant to talk about sequels, but fuck it, it's a film podcast as well.
It was good. It was I was just like, when you go to a party and you don't know anyone.
Yes.
It was that. Basically. And so I was just sort of standing around awkwardly. And then I was in the piece I wrote about it, I called it like the normal person Oscars, because all the famous people are down at the front.
Yeah.
And then there's a next layer, which is maybe kind of the sound people.
Yeah.
And then there's another level, which are, I guess, friends and family. And then there's another level, which was me. And I was sitting next to the mum of the production designer of Oppenheimer, which was kind of sweet. She was super excited. And I enjoyed that. But it was, they're a bit like, there was a bit where Jimmy Kimmel went, everyone, look under your seats. We've got you a present. And obviously they hadn't by the time you got to yeah, it was fine. I nearly got mugged afterwards because you're supposed to get typical like a small British person. I didn't realize Los Angeles is as big as it is.
Yeah.
So I thought I could walk back to my hotel afterwards.
Right.
It's a long walk and my feet hurt, and no one walks anywhere in Los Angeles because it's full of sort of, I don't want to, it sounds judgmental, but actually crazy people and people who want to mug you.
I saw a stat the other day that says 1 in every 35 people in the United States lives in LA. That's really? How big LA is, yeah. Like, it's
that makes
crazy.
Sense. It's enormous.
So you were dressed up like James Bond doing a long walk?
Yeah, walking through, like, and the Oscars is held in a shopping centre.
Oh,
is
right.
it? It's a cinema in a shopping centre, basically. And they jazz it up, but you have to walk past a shoe shop sort of to get in there. And it's in a quite a rough part of town, it turns out. And when you leave, they give you a little chocolate Oscar. Yeah. So I was carrying a chocolate Oscar, wearing a tuxedo, and these guys started coming up to me and were asking me lots of questions. And I was just being a sort of a very gullible person, being like, "Oh no, I had a great time actually. It was really nice." And they're like, "Oh yeah." And a policewoman had to come up and sort of break us up. And I thought, but these are my new friends. I don't understand. And then I kind of shit my pants and got an Uber. But it was fun. Fun day out.
Was it? do you get to have like? Is there toilet breaks or is it just? I suppose at the top level you're not quite on camera as like the Rock.
And even at the bottom. Anytime there's a commercial, everyone gets up and they're sort of mingling around and they leave and they come back. And on every floor, even in the Gods where I was, there's a bar.
Oh, wicked!
Where you can just go and if I go again, I don't think I'll be invited back. But if I do go again, I'm sort of thinking about just spending the whole, like, avoiding the ceremony and just spending it in the bar and just watching people come in and come out, because that seems to be where all the action is.
All right. There's no drama last year, was it? No, it wasn't. The Will Smith wasn't last year. That was the year before.
No. But I was live vlogging that, which is normally, like, the good thing about live blogging is it's sort of boring, and like, oh, here comes someone, they're going to say a thing now, they're doing the nominations now, and so you sort of get into the routine of that, and then all of a sudden there's a man screaming in the audience, and like I don't know how I was trying to sort of explain something that I couldn't understand.
Yeah, I don't know how to write this, but Will Smith has just stood up.
I think he's just punched him. And then like the chat that's going on with the whole newspaper team are just going, yeah. And they had it up on like YouTube. Really, I think the Guardian had it up on YouTube, the slap, faster than anyone. So it's been watched.
Brilliant.
YouTube. Yeah.
Bravo.
Oh, they're amazing. The whole film team at the Guardian is amazing. I'm freelance, so I barely go in, so I don't really know any of them very well.
Right.
But they're just incredible at what they do.
Yeah, I bet it's a fun job.
Like a tourist. Yeah.
How do you feel about sequels and Oscars? We have to bring this round somehow, and then I'll try and land this.
Yeah, let's do that. Sequels and Oscars.
Do you think they get a fair share?
A bad rap.
A bad rap just because they're sequels? Or do you think some of the sequels should have been nominated or at least talked about when it comes to nominations?
That's a really good question. I can't think of any, off the top of my head, any sequels that have...
Well, this year, the Dune Part 2 is the one that's getting technically...
Oh, that's right. And that kind of did get really shunned, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't think Denis Villeneuve got nominated for Best Director.
No,
or maybe
he didn't, which is crazy.
You also get this phenomenon where often Oscars, certainly if it's more than two movies, they'll wait until the last one. Like with Lord of the Rings, it's Return of the King that gets everything, even though Two Towers is probably better and certainly, deserves more awards.
Oh, so you think maybe they're saving Dune up for the third one?
Maybe.
I hope so. But, Wicked Part 2 might get a bigger say next year. I don't know if they'll win this year. Maybe they will. They're both great in it, to be honest. But
yeah, they are. They're really good in it. And it's up for, I think, 10?
Something strong like that.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Emilia Perez is the one that's got 13. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it.
I haven't seen it either. And I feel like I should. And there were times, like last week, it's on Netflix, for God's sake.
Yes.
So there's zero barrier to stop me watching it. And I had a few hours, and I was like, I could watch it. I could just bite the bullet and watch it. And for some reason, I ended up watching some film I've seen like 100. I can't remember what it is, but it was just some comfort film.
It's always the way.
It's a musical. I don't want to. I don't like musicals very much.
You sound like Rich.
Okay.
I'm not a huge musical fan, but I have watched a lot of musicals recently, and they have sort of won me around.
You are starting to change your mind.
I am coming around. Yeah, I went through a little Bollywood phase, watching a few Bollywood movies, and suddenly musicals seemed great. I don't know what's happened, but yeah,
maybe that's what I should try.
Yeah,
I have a real problem with like the stealth musicals, where you go watch the trailer and there's no hint that it's going to be a musical, and then it's like Wonka.
Wonka's great.
I loved Wonka.
I liked Wonka, but there was the minute that the second song started. Like, there's the first song where you're like, oh, maybe he's just singing his way into it, and then the second song, and you could feel it was quite a crowded screening that I went to, like a public screening. People paid. And as soon as the second song started up, people just went, oh, what have we done?
My wife had something very similar watching Joker Folie à Deux this year. She didn't realise that was a sequel.
Oh, God. And that never stops. There's like 1,500 songs in that film.
In our local cinema, I don't know if it's in every Odeon or if it's just ours, but they play like soundtracks in the toilet. So when you go to the toilet, they're playing movie soundtracks. And I literally had to go for a wee while the Folie à Deux soundtrack is playing, and I'm being sung at incredibly badly by people who can sing better than that. And I'm like, why are you playing this? Like, why are you playing Joaquin Phoenix singing off key? I don't like it.
It's all a bit mad. Let's get on to the first big question, which is, Stu, what is your best ever sequel?
My best ever sequel is Gremlins 2: The New Batch.
This is a lovely choice.
Oh, it's so good.
This is a great choice. I don't know if you've seen, but we did, just before Christmas, we did a really special Christmas episode where we crossed over with another sequel podcast called The Sequelizers, and we did our pitch for Gremlins 3. So Gremlins is very high up.
What's going to happen in Gremlins 3?
Well, our pitch was set in Britain, and stars Nick Frost, and it all happens in a museum, essentially. And basically, it's Gremlins in a museum. It's,
It is great. So why do you love Gremlins 2, though? Like, in 99, how old were you then? 10, I'm guessing, something like that?
Yeah, it was about 10. And I liked Gremlins a lot. And I liked it for the reason that I think most of the kids who are sort of my age liked it, which is that it had a very cute creature and then lots of naughty creatures.
Yeah.
But then I was only 10 when it came out. So maybe I saw it a bit later. No, I definitely didn't go and see it at the cinema. So I was a teenager maybe when I saw it for the first time. And it's so much more smart alecky than the first one. Yeah. And what I love about it is this happens a bit. And I think it sort of happened with the Joker 2, but in a bad way, is that it's a direct reaction to the first film.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it takes joy from punishing the people who like the first film, because Gizmo spends most of the film being tortured.
Yes, he does.
And there's just loads of very sort of self-aware. That one of the gremlins ends up getting a Warner Brothers tattoo across its chest, the Warner Brothers logo.
Yeah,
it's just great. And it's what I heard while they were making it was that Joe Dante, who directed the first one, he didn't write the first one. That was Chris Columbus.
Yeah,
and he didn't have a great time directing it, from what I hear, because there was technically there was a lot of it was like a groundbreaking puppeteering movie, so that took a lot of sort of research and development. And then the studio, when they saw how cute Gizmo was, they wanted more Gizmo. So it started off being a horror and turned into this sort of Disney-fied family film.
Yeah.
So they wanted him to do the sequel, and he said no. And they asked a bunch of other people, and they all said no. So they went back to Joe Dante, and he said, if you give me lots more money and I can do whatever I want, then I'll do it. And he just completely ran with it.
He really did.
There's a bit in it where... it must have been amazing seeing it in the cinema, where the film breaks down.
Yeah,
the film stock sort of slows and bubbles, and then you see the gremlins doing shadow puppetry, and then someone runs out of the cinema and tells an usher that something's happened, and then it cuts to I think it's like a nudie black and white volleyball movie or something. And it just sort of keeps building and building and building, all these sort of breaking every single sort of fourth wall that it
keeps getting madder.
So good.
I don't know if you remember it, but Hulk Hogan's in it at that point.
Yes, Hulk Hogan's one who thinks out the cinema problem. Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird because in the cinema version, in the movie version, they have Hulk Hogan and he does that bit. But when it's video, and it's Christopher Lee as Dr. Catheter, who does an announcement on the video going, the gremlins are in your video machine and they're doing this and that. So it's if you watch it on video, it's different to the movie, different to the cinema.
That's amazing. I heard that in the novel, this is Quentin Tarantino did a podcast about it, I think. And he says in the novelization, the same thing happens, but the gremlins kidnap the author of the book and write their manifesto until he can break out and free them.
Oh, really?
I'd never thought I'd want to go and build the novelization to Gremlins 2 The New Batch, but I kind of do, I think.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. So when you watch Gremlins 2, had you have seen Gremlins? Or are you one of those people? Because for me, Gremlins 2 I saw before Gremlins.
Oh, interesting.
Because I think I'm a few years younger than you. Rich is about your age, I think.
Yeah.
But it's one of those films that your parents feel... Okay, it's fun, it's cute, but it's also a little bit adult, but I reckon they can watch this. But I think Gremlins 1's more known as being a horror compared to Gremlins 2, which is batshit crazy.
Yeah. It is sort of a horror. It's very, very kid-friendly horror. I definitely saw it when I was pre-teen, Gremlins. And I always thought it was just a very sweet sort of... Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas
movie.
One
of my favourite Christmas movies. Yeah. And another thing I love about the second one though is that it takes. I think Joe Dante took all the things that didn't make any sense from the first one and just openly mocked them.
Yes.
So there's a bit where Phoebe Cates' character in the first one, she goes on about this trauma she got because someone dressed as Santa Claus and fell down her chimney. But then in the second one, she starts talking about someone dressed as Abraham Lincoln.
Yes, Memorial Day.
They just sort of push her off the screen and all right, that's enough.
Yeah.
So again, regular listeners will know, but that is the moment where Phoebe Cates talks about her dad dressed as Santa and getting stuck in the chimney, and that's when her dad died. That's when I found out Santa wasn't real. I watched Gremlins when I was 6, and that's when I found out that there was no Santa Claus.
The irony of that scene. Of Rich watching it and find out he has that's not real.
Because it ends with her going, and that's how I found out there was no Santa Claus. And I'm like, what?
Dad?
Jesus. That's maybe I've been really toying with showing my kids Gremlins, and I completely forgot that's how that monologue ends. Yeah. And now I can't do it.
No,
I don't want to be that.
Not for a few years.
No, I've got to wait until the rude kid in their class just blabs it to them.
Yeah.
That's how everyone usually is.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to find out. Not from Phoebe Cates.
It's not a worse person to find out from, I guess, at that point.
That's true.
Have you seen the Key and Peele skit about Gremlins 2?
Yeah.
That to me is like just perfect. Describes that movie. Like just whatever you're saying, what Joe Dante wanted. Yeah, it's gonna be in the movie. Like
An interview where someone asked him about that, and he was like, "Yeah, no, that's basically exactly how it was." Just saying yes to as many stupid ideas as he could.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect. Perfect film.
So in your head, is it better than the first one?
Yes. Yeah.
Wicked.
Yeah. Definitely. It's because it's as well as being sort of more confident, and it is.
It is confident. I'll give it that. Yeah.
The final sequence where they're singing. There's like thousands of gremlins. So just on a production level, that's.
Yeah.
There's a big old sort of musical number.
Yeah, they sing
Like
New York,
New York.
New York. Yeah, just putting that on, it must have been such a feat. So on that level, I like it. On, I think it's funnier. It's weirdly more timely because there's a Donald Trump character in it. He's kind of the baddie.
Yes,
Daniel Clamp.
Daniel Clamp, yeah.
Is fully Donald Trump in the 80s when he was just a guy who put his name on buildings and not anything more sinister than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the how am I going to put this? The female gremlin.
I think I feel comfortable with her. She's got very good calves. Remember, incredibly toned calves. Doesn't it end with her?
Yep.
Yeah. She kind of
Seduces him, and he just gives in. The security guard.
He does. Right at the end, he's like, oh well.
Oh well.
Go than having sex with a gremlin.
Yeah. Are you surprised we've never had a Gremlins 3? What do you think? Why?
I don't know why. Actually, they sort of they're doing that whole sort of IP thing where they're just going back through any old films they can get and turning it into it. So I think there either is or there has been a kids Gremlins series.
Oh, Rich has watched it. Yes.
Yeah, Secrets of the Mogwai. I've watched it.
Good. I haven't seen it.
It's surprisingly good. My son really enjoyed it. Yeah, yeah. It's actually
funny?
It is funny. It's a prequel. It's set in the 1920s in China, and it's quite good. It's worth a watch.
Removes a lot of the problems of the sort of the horrible Orientalism of the first one is.
Yeah. I mean, obviously all the characters are in it are Chinese, so it's and if it's animated, so it can kind of do this stuff.
Yeah. Now, if there was a Gremlins 3, do you think it would be like CG or?
I think. Well, I mean, Christopher Columbus has been talking about it, isn't he? He's been trying to get Gremlins 3 going for ages, and they've finally sort of given him a little bit of a go ahead by all accounts.
Or hope.
Yeah, I hope. But he's been saying it's got to be practical effects. It has to be kind of practical effects, which I agree with, really. But what they can do with CG is take out the wires and stuff, can't they? That's the CG part of it, I guess.
I think the problem we haven't had a Gremlins 3 is because it was so hard to make Gremlins 1 and 2, especially with the practical effects they want to, because there is money to be made in a Gremlins film. It's just for the merchandise. As soon as kids get their eyes on a cute little gizmo again, everyone's going to want one. I loved Gizmo so much.
Yeah,
it was
me too. And that was Howie Mandel did the voice of that. The man who does the American version of Deal or No Deal.
Oh, is that what he does now?
That's what he does. Yeah.
Oh, I think maybe America's Got Talent or something, but he's.
I know he's on Canada Got Talent.
Oh, maybe that's it.
I think he was also in America Got Talent for a while. I think he did something wrong. I'm not quite sure what he did wrong.
I think it's fair to assume it's a famous man. If you were talking about a famous man, there's like a 75% chance that.
Yes.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Spotty checking.
But what kind of sound effect? You don't really need a famous person to do a voice of Gizmo, do you?
No, it's just a sort of. I could do it. There you go. Gremlins 3.
Perfect.
Leave that. Give me just back up the money truck.
Yeah. So with your kids now, are you more tempted to show them Gremlins 2 than Gremlins 1 after we've informed
now
you?
We know about the bloody Santa Claus thing. Absolutely. All I'd have to do with them is I'd have to explain who the monsters are. I'd have to explain. All the technology is. Although there's Is it problematic? I don't think it's that problematic.
It's mostly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how we're all trying to think back now if anything is problematic in...
I mean, I think the Lady Gremlin is the most problematic thing in it, but it's, I think it's okay.
Yeah, there's quite some scary stuff in there. Like the spider gremlin is quite...
Yeah, that is scary.
There's the bat-like flying one is quite scary. The sheer amount of them is quite scary, to be honest. When they're changing, the practical effects is so good at that point.
Well, it's like Alien when they're changing, isn't it? When they have all the eggs and stuff, like the cocoon things. It looks like Alien. Yeah.
So what you should do, Stu, is let your kids watch Aliens, and then if they can handle that, they can handle Gremlins, and then it's sorted, I guess. When was the last time you saw Gremlins 2?
This week. I rewatched it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, which makes me wonder why I didn't keep track of the problematic material in it. It all seemed fine to me, but
because it all seems fine. Yeah. What's your favourite bit?
I really like the bit where they get Leonard Maitland to read his own review.
Yes,
of the really first film, and then get attacked by gremlins. I think that's great, and the big production at the end.
Yeah,
I was surprised when I watched it. I was surprised how slow it was at the beginning. The first 30 minutes are kind of just a retread of the first Gremlins, where they introduce the gizmo and they explain the rules, and it takes a while to build up, but then it just rockets and it goes so crazy so quickly.
Yeah,
it really does.
I love it. Oh, I do like the bit where they do take the piss out of the rules. Where there's just a bunch of people gather around and they're like, well, what if he if you can't feed him after midnight, what if he gets a bit of food lodged in his teeth at 11:55 and it comes loose at 12:03? Is that eating after midnight?
Oh, right. Well, the TV show solves that, apparently.
Oh, really?
Oh, there's deep Gremlins lore. So apparently, if a gremlin eats when the moon is highest in the sky rather than midnight, and it's just humans have translated that into being midnight. So that's kind of, that's the thing. But again, I think it still stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like we're all thinking about it again now.
Yeah.
I know, I'm really...
I think it's one of those things where you just have to go, it's fine. It happens.
Yeah. Like, how wet do they have to be?
Yeah. How wet do they have to be? What if they sweat or
they
dribble?
They must wash it at some point, or I don't know. And then Rich knows there's different levels of hormones or maturity of gremlins or something.
So the reason the young gremlins are all, the young mogwai are all dicks, essentially, is because apparently gremlins are like hundreds of thousands of years old, and they're basically like feral teenagers for the first 10 years or so. And they get less and less. They get more and more gizmo-like the older they get. If they don't get to be gremlins, that's kind of.
So Gizmo is just. He grew out of it. He went through a phase of.
Pretty much, yeah.
Look at his.
I like that a lot, but that feels like they've over-explained it now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I've killed it for you now.
There's like 30 years of people trying to be cleverer than the film. Like, what if? Like, Gremlins was for a while, like a playground film, I can imagine. Like,
oh, yeah.
When you saw it in school and you're like, have you seen Gremlins kind of thing? And then everyone wanted a gizmo and everyone got a gizmo and, oh, Mum, I wouldn't drop water on it or whatever. Then, you probably would at that point. Did you have the cuddly toy, by the way, when you were young?
I didn't, and I wanted one. I really wanted one. I remember, like, longing at the Index catalogue.
Oh.
If they had one, and for some reason not getting it. But it's fine.
You're 45 now. eBay. Go for it.
Just do it. I know there's nothing stopping me.
Yes.
I could turn into that person who just lives out all my childhood.
Yeah.
I am that person. Yeah.
Lowe's knows member-only doorbuster deals make SpringFest savings even better. Right now, rewards members can get 3 19.3-ounce Bonnie Plants vegetables and herbs for just $10. Plus, save $50 on a Charbroil Performance Series 4-burner grill, now $149. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/7, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location, subject to change, while supplies last. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms.
Uh-oh. The last cookie?
You can get a new box of cookies in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Are you my guilty self-conscience?
No, I'm the voice offering you promo code EXPRESS for free delivery on your first order.
Hey, who ate my cookies?
You mean, these cookies?
Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Promotion valid for first express delivery order. $50 minimum subject to availability. Restrictions apply.
Wow, this house is cute. But can I really get in the game in this economy? I do have savings, and I am responsible-ish. I should bury it. I'm being wild. But what if I'm not being wild, though? Could I actually score a...
Kick off your home buying journey with Zillow's new buyability tool. It makes it easy to find out what you can afford, so you can get off the bench and onto the playing field with confidence. Check your buyability, only on Zillow.
So this is not the worst sequel, but what has been the most disappointing sequel? So it doesn't even have to be a bad sequel, but it's a sequel you went in really looking forward to, and then you just came out,
Oh, the one that sticks out for me is The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
Which I was so excited for.
Mm.
Love The Dark Knight so much. I may have seen it more than any other film, possibly. I watch it over and over again. I love it. And The Dark Knight Rises is still a good film, but it's too long, and it's the bits that don't work at all.
Yeah.
And I remember leaving the cinema just being like, what was that? Why was that so long? Why didn't he die in a nuclear explosion? That's not how nuclear bombs work. You can't just eject 3 seconds before a nuclear bomb goes off and then live out your life. And just little things like there's a bit where he goes through old newspaper headlines looking for Catwoman things, and the headlines are misspelled, and they've just like got through the edits. The various I
wouldn't even notice that.
There's one of them that says thief, but the I and E are switched.
Oh, that's bad.
Do you think that's a Riddler thing?
Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe there'll be a Gremlin style series explaining why sometimes headlines are misspelled. Yeah, that was really disappointing for me. Also, Spider-Man 3 I found very disappointing. That for exactly the same reason. I was really excited.
Yeah.
And then Tobey Maguire did a dance.
That's the point I left the cinema.
You left?
Yeah. Me and my friend, we left. He turned to me and went, "There's an all-you-can-eat Chinese next door. That's going to be better than this." We're like, okay, let's go. One and only time I've ever walked out of a film.
I don't think I ever have, apart from Return to Oz. But that was,
Yeah, you're a kid. You're allowed.
I feel like if someone whispered to me there's an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet through any film, I'd be like, all right, what are we doing watching this shit for? Let's go.
Yeah, especially if you're not enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were not enjoying it.
I'm
guessing you really loved The Dark Knight and Spider-Man 2 then.
Spider-Man 2 I loved, yeah. It felt like it was such a... considering what superhero movies were like, it was so mature and so complex. And it doesn't seem like it is now because the superhero films are so expansive now.
Mm.
It was, it was really... It felt like it was one of the first times that comic books were being taken seriously as a filmmaking, device.
They were exciting.
Yeah. And it was so good. And then the third one, I don't know. It was too busy.
Yeah.
It had too many.
Yeah, it's all wrong, isn't it? It's got too much, and it's also boring at the same time.
Yes.
Like it just manages this to be both too much stuff and also not enough. And it's just falls down on every level.
I was excited for Spider-Man 3. I was like, Venom, we're finally going to get Venom in this movie.
Ruin Venom.
Yes.
Sorry. And then I think the famous story is that Sam Raimi didn't want to use Venom, but the studio wanted Venom. So Raimi was like, fine, he's going in, but he's barely going to be in it.
Yeah. And when he is, he's going to be shit.
Yeah. Played by Topher Grace. Nothing wrong with Topher Grace, but he's not Venom, really.
No, I haven't seen the third Venom film, but the second Venom film was going to be one of my
Really?
One of my favourites.
It's
so
good
stupid.
you've not seen the third one then, because it's definitely worse.
Oh, that's a shame.
That's a shame.
I'll never watch it.
Well, you should, because you know what going in, I knew what kind of film it's going to be, because these films have not changed. These Venom films, they've done the same thing in both their films, and they're crap. But Tom Hardy fucking commits. He goes all in, and Rich somehow convinced himself that part 3 was going to be The Godfather.
The trailer, no, not quite. But the trailer looked good. Okay, the trailer looked good. It did. And I went in going, the trailers look good. Maybe they're going to get it right. I'm fully in for this movie. And about 10 minutes in, I was like, I've made a huge mistake.
We don't want to ruin what happens, but it's pretty mad. But again,
it's terrible.
Tom Hardy commits.
Really bad.
He really commits.
It's not enough. It isn't enough to save that movie. It's shocking.
Those whole Sony offshoot sequel things are all shit in my eyes.
Yeah. I don't know how they get them so badly wrong. They feel like they're not... They feel like they're all about 30 years old as well. They feel like they're all made...
They do,
They all feel like they're released when Daredevil was released. And that and Elektra and stuff like that, and the original Fantastic Four movies. And then they've asked Mr. AI to write them a script, and then ta-da!
Craven the Hunter especially. Like that, if that's not written by an AI, then there's something going on there. Like, I think that movie's deliberately crap. Sony have gone, we're making this just because we want to keep the rights, but we're going to make it bad.
Yeah. So however bad you think Spider-Man 3 is, or whatever, these films are worse. Much, much worse. I mean, Rich wouldn't walk out of Spider-Man 3 now, I don't think. Would you?
No, I probably wouldn't. But I did want to walk out of Craven the Hunter. And if we weren't reviewing it for this podcast, I would have done.
Yeah, that was bad. Do you have are you a big Batman fan, quickly? Is that why you're excited for The Dark Knight Rises? Do you know what was meant to be coming?
It kind of was a Batman film. Like the 1989 Batman film, it was one of the first times I was very aware of the hype of movie, because it was everywhere.
Yeah, right? It was.
It was like you could buy clothes that had the Batman logo on it, and it's all stuff that is kind of.
I had a Batman lunchbox.
When a film comes out, it's part of the course, but it felt like it was just everywhere you went. It was Batman, so I enjoyed that. The second Tim Burton Batman film was the first film I ever went to go and see with my friends.
Oh, amazing!
Nice. Yeah, and I was 11 and a half and it was a 12, and I was just bricking it that I'd get stopped on entry and have to answer a question about my exact date of birth. And all of them, and The Dark Knight especially I thought was just an amazing film.
Yeah.
And they've all been a bit disappointing since then. The Batman I didn't like as much as most people did.
Right, neither did we.
I went to see it on have you ever been to one of the Screen X things that they have at Cineworld, where the sides of the cinema it's horrible. It's a really crap way to watch a film, and that's the only time I've ever done it is to watch The Batman, and I don't know if that ruined it for me or if it's just a bad film.
You see more of Gotham, what's going on
every how when you watch The Dark Knight on an IMAX cinema, they have it the normal kind of
yeah,
and then it would pop up and fill the whole screen for
I went and saw The Dark Knight on the IMAX. It's amazing.
Yeah, some sequences for Screen X, they would just the walls would just light up with it, like a wraparound extended thing. So you would see a bit more of the background. Nothing exciting would happen because your focus is always on the screen, but peripherally.
So they're trying to put you in the scene, kind of.
Yeah, and it's rubbish.
Yeah,
and especially if the film is long and boring, like The Batman, and you want to try and get a nap in, it just makes the cinema much brighter. So it was like I was being aggressively deprived of sleep as well. So I feel like maybe that's why I don't like it.
Oh. Don't try that.
Also, it's quite dull in lots of places.
It is. Yeah.
It takes a long time to do anything. Yeah, it's way too long.
Yeah.
Anyway, now we've got each other sad. Shall we go on to the... Stu, what's your worst ever sequel?
My worst ever sequel is Fast X, which I hate so much, and I've watched so many times. Every time I get a chance to watch it, I'm like, I'm bloody watching. I haven't seen many of the Fast and Furious films. I saw the first one. I think, the fifth one.
Good. You've watched two good ones.
I watched. There's one that ends with a very, very long chase on a runway that goes on for about 20 minutes, and they're going at 100 miles an hour.
Six.
And halfway through, you're like, how long's this runway? And you just start doing the maths in your head, and it's like, it has to be like 47 miles long or something.
They mentioned at the beginning, I think it's meant to be quarter of a mile, but they drive on it for 15 minutes or something. Yeah.
It's such a long chase. And then I fell out, and then I watched Fast X just because it was on Sky.
Wow.
And I was like, let's see what this is like. And it's so stupid. It's
very stupid.
A film. It's barely a film.
But by this point, the Fast and Furious films are just EastEnders. That's basically what you're watching. Like, that's what it's become.
And everyone, it seems to me like anyone who has been in a previous Fast and Furious film as a baddie is now best friends.
Yes.
Yep.
With the Torettos.
Yeah.
And his friends. And also, and like Charlize Theron comes in, and she's like, she was the baddie a few films ago, and now she's like best mates. And she's coming to warn. And was John Cena a baddie in his film?
In number 9, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
In number 9, because he's just full on like cutesy best friends.
He's
like,
fun uncle.
He's just the dialogue in the film. The logistical gymnastics they have to go through to keep explaining who they are. There's one bit where Vin Diesel's son gets kidnapped, I think, and they go. One of the other characters says, "You've got to get your son, my nephew," and it's like they have to keep constantly being like, "Keep up now. We know you don't care about the humans, but you've got to keep." I watched it again this week. I didn't have to. I've seen it so many times.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. But it's stupid.
Are you not tempted to go and do all of them now? As in, you're missing number 7, which is a very good one.
I think X is possibly the worst one.
I think 9's worse.
Okay. I think
which
2
is
up
when they
there
go to
as well.
space.
That's 9.
That's 9 when they go to space. But at least it's funny. It's like X, like 10 is just, it's too po-faced to even be funny in places.
And the Jason Momoa,
he's great in it. I
quite like him in it. Yeah, I quite like Jason Momoa in it.
Sorry to point and get angry there, but he's great in that movie.
You're really aggressively gesturing at me.
Yeah. I think he's the only one who knows what movie he's in.
Yes.
Like everyone else is like.
I think he does. Yeah, he is. There's a bit where which is very dark. The scene where he there's just a couple of dead people that he has a conversation with, and there are flies crawling across their eyeballs, and he's ventriloquizing them.
Yeah, he's Weekend at Bernie's-ing them, isn't he?
Yeah.
Which
God,
hasn't been that kind of level of violence in any of these movies, but for that a minute and a half, that does stand out at that point. It's
very dark. I'm desperate to know what Fast 11's going to be like.
I
think we all are.
Yeah, they should have made it by now, shouldn't they?
Yeah, we should have had it ages ago.
It's a return. It's going to be the last one, as far as I know. They say it's going to be the last one.
Fingers
and it's
crossed.
going to be a return to the first one,
right?
Which was just people driving cars and having fun.
Yes,
pretty much.
Eating tuna sandwiches. Yeah,
and stealing DVD players.
Yeah.
But this one ended with Vin Diesel
say it
driving down an exploding dam.
Yeah,
with his kid and like facing what must be certain death.
Mm-hmm.
Why? How are they going to go from that to just drag racing again?
Back to street racing.
And you've got kids, right? Like, the thing I don't get about this movie is Vin Diesel's a dad at this point, and he just constantly puts his child in danger at every opportunity. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like,
the kid is jumps or is thrown between two moving cars that are traveling at speed.
Yeah.
My favorite part of this film that I hate is that the bit where they're driving down the dam and he has to put the nitro on to escape the explosion. And there's this shot, which is kind of like, this is an old reference, but you remember Harlem Shake, where you move the camera through sort of a static environment?
Yes.
It's like that, but it's a slow motion version of first his son looking terrified, obviously, and then it sort of pans over to Vin Diesel, and then it pans down to the crucifix on his chest, and then it pans down his arm, and in slow motion he presses the nitro button. And all it is, it's a shot of a man pressing a button, but they turn it into this sort of 45-second CGI extravaganza that's like the emotional high point of the whole film. Not emotional high point.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
It's up there.
And I've never seen anything like it. It doesn't. Why is Brie Larson in it? Like, there are so many people in the film. They don't need to have new people. Why the winning actress Brie Larson just turns up for 2 scenes and gets shot, and then that's the end of her?
Well, she might be back for the next one.
It won't be, because that's the other thing with these movies, is anyone who's dead is not dead. They'll come back. Like, everyone in these movies has died at some point, and they're all back.
Oh, that's good. Because I was worried about Ludacris, because his error. This is a spoiler, obviously, for people who haven't seen Fast X, but their plane gets shot down.
That's the big tease. Yeah, are they alive? Are they dead? Of course, they're alive.
They'll be fine.
They'll be fine. They've somehow parachuted off that big jet in cars or something like that. Yeah. Who is still in play? Vin Diesel's still in play. Is Cena died? Sorry, this is spoilers.
He definitely died. He got the full heroic. His car blew up.
Yeah.
But that also happened to Han.
Sacrificed himself.
That happened to Han in 3, and he's alive again.
Yeah.
Who else is it?
Statham's still alive, but he's gone to find his mum, who's played by Helen Mirren. Jesus. It sounds like we're making this up at this point, but we're really not. Who else is there? There's Therese's character.
Isn't he? Doesn't The Rock get a post-credit scene?
Yes,
The Rock's got a post-credit scene.
They were meant to make another movie, or like a solo Rock film with just his character Hobbs.
Yeah.
I wonder if this whole like Rock Vin Diesel feud thing has all just been a massive like PR stunt. So people would be like, oh my God, they are going to get back together again. Oh, it's amazing. And everyone's just gone, it's fine.
But if they were going to do that, it's been really shit and it's been too long now.
Exactly. Yeah. It's been so long and it's been so crap that everyone's just like, yeah, whatever.
I don't think they've even written number 11 yet. Or whatever they're going to call it, X Part 2.
It's never going to happen because Vin Diesel's going to be like 804 years old.
He's mad. He's mad. Which is the one when he turns into a Superman. Was that 10? When he pulled the tower on top of himself in the water underground base. Or was that 9?
I've got to start watching these films.
Is that 8? No, the 8's the submarine, isn't it?
8's the submarine one, yeah. Yeah. Isn't it? I don't know. They all blur into one, to be honest. I sort of have to watch them. They're sort of those movies that I have to watch. I watched the first one and really enjoyed it. I watched the second one and thought it was crap. And then the third one pulled me back in again. And then by the time I got to 5, I'm like, I may as well just carry on watching these.
5 and 7 are the best ones.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think 5 is the best, yeah.
Yeah. I think you should go and watch them, all Stu.
They're all sitting right there. They're all on the same streaming platform. I might do it.
Maybe when 11 comes out, you can write a piece on it.
Oh, I could do the whole lot.
The whole lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I will. Go somewhere, and I'll shut myself away from my family for...
No, because those films are made for family.
Oh, they are. That's right. That's the point of those films.
It's all about the family. Those films. It's all about the family. So
I like that in the 10th one. They do take the piss out of that a bit. They're a bit like, why do you? They draw attention to like. I went on a walk. This feels like a tangent that doesn't make any sense, but hopefully it will. I went for a walk with my oldest son a couple of weeks ago, a 5-mile walk, and it was nice, except it was through fields until we got to the last field where the mud was very boggy. And with every step, our shoes got more and more covered in mud, and it got harder to walk. And we could see the end of the field, and right at the end, my son started crying because his feet were so heavy he couldn't move them. That's what it feels like these films are like.
Yeah,
is that like you've just got the baggage of so much other, like they don't let anything drop. Every plot point from every film continues across.
100%.
So they're all at the point where they're 3/4 of the way through this field and they're crying because they don't know how to shake mud off their feet yet.
I've just remembered that the Gal Gadot character's back as well.
Oh yeah, she's not dead anymore either.
She turned up. She turned up in the shitty-looking submarine, which is clearly CGI.
I think your analogy about all the mud on the shoes is
great.
It's perfect. It's exactly what it is. Because you just look at the cast and you're like, there are too many people in this movie.
Yeah, and you have to give them all something to do. Even if it's Helen Mirren just sort of turning up for 10 seconds and in a Pat Butcher voice and saying...
Even Scott Eastwood has to have something to do.
Oh, Scott Eastwood. Is it... No, that's the... No. Is Cardi B in the 9th one, Rich? And they try and make her out that she's been in all of these movies, pretty much.
Yeah, I think
and I had to be like, have we met her before somewhere? But we never had.
They definitely drop her in like an old friend.
Yes.
You're like, where has she come from?
It's mad. It is. I can see why you picked it, Stu. Especially.
Yeah.
Are those kind of big tentpole films like that your bag? Or do you is that why you go towards more of the Oscar-y ones?
Oh, no, I do. I love a summer film.
The big, bad, stupid blockbuster.
I really like, there are moments in Fast X that I love, sort of, just because it's so big and it's so stupid and it's so abstract. I don't like the next one. It could just be like shapes and sounds and nothing else, and it would still be like, oh, okay, that's just a logical progression of No, so I love all of those films. Not all of the Fast and Furious ones, but like the summer films as a concept.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Switch to Verizon Business and get more from your internet without paying more for your internet. Get LTE Business Internet starting at $39 a month when paired with a Business Unlimited smartphone plan. That's unlimited data, and with it, unlimited possibilities. Start saving today with Verizon Business, ranked #1 in small business internet customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. Starting price for 25 megabits per second internet plan with savings, plus taxes, fees, and economic adjustment charge. Terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
You're the perfect blend of elegance and style, and your ride should be no different. The 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid meets all your needs, from business to brunch and everywhere in between. With head-turning details like a sleek front end, plus stylish interior, and an available 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster and seamless tech integration. Okay, Hyundai. Visit HyundaiUSA.com to learn more about the new 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid.
What sequel seemed like a bad idea, but you ended up liking?
Oh, gosh. Okay, let me think about this.
So this isn't going to work for you, but a lot of people say like Fast 5.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of or it comes up in those kind of franchise things where you think you're done with a franchise and then it sucks you back in.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, I'm sure must be like a Marvel. You know, the Captain America, was it the Winter Soldier? That was the second.
The Winter Soldier, yeah.
That one, because I really didn't like the first one. And I thought it was just going to be bad all the way through, but that was sort of a...
That's a good shout. That's a great shout.
Yeah,
because that's a cracking sequel. And the first one is not great, the Captain America films.
Yeah,
Marvel hadn't quite found their footing yet at that point, I would say. And by the time Winter Soldier comes around, you're in, basically.
Yeah.
I think this is great.
Yeah. I think it might be like the high point of the MCU.
Ooh, big statement.
I think it's gone very silly. I watched the Marvels last night again. That's an interesting film.
It's okay. It's fun.
I think it's okay. Yeah, it is fun compared to some of the other crap that we've had from like Ant-Man Quantumania,
oh god, that was terrible.
Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, give me Marvels over that any day.
Yeah, Marvels is really funny. There's some really funny bits in it. They're just very throwaway lines that really probably made me laugh.
Yeah,
they're all Sam Jackson lines as well.
He's great.
He's brilliant.
How do you feel about the Singing Planet?
Kind of liked it.
Okay, good.
Kind of liked it. I feel like we could see how it would make a lot of the stereotypical comic book fans very angry.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. It's a superhero film with a young girl in it and Brie Larson, who's a singer. So why not? Why not go all out and Although I noticed the sequence where she's singing at her husband, where Captain Marvel's singing at her husband. Every time they start singing, they cut away to people commenting on the singing. So it looks like the whole thing's been chopped into pieces.
Mm.
It feels like one of the. I don't know if this is sure, but it feels like it was a much longer sequence that they've just hacked away.
I think that's Disney going, nobody wants to see singing in a Marvel movie. Get rid of it.
Isn't it like the Marvels is the shortest Marvel film or something like that?
It's very, very short, yeah.
It's under 90 minutes or something, I believe, or somewhere around that time, where most Marvel films are always 2 hours, 2 hours 15, or even 3 if we're going to the longer ones. Have you always been into the Marvel films? Like you said, the Captain America one's not great. Were you looking forward to that? And then the Thor and the Iron Mans?
It took me a while to get into. I liked first Iron Man. I really enjoyed it. I remember when the trailer came out for that, and it was just like, oh, this might be good.
Yeah.
And just like, this would be a surprise. And it came out about the same time as The Dark Knight. I remember.
2008, yeah.
Yeah. And they were very different superhero films, but it felt like the start of something. I've kind of lost my way with it a bit now.
Yeah.
What, post Endgame?
Yeah, post Endgame. I think if you call a film Endgame, people are going to want it to be the end.
Yeah.
And now it's not, and it's just it just feels like you have to do so much homework.
Yeah,
you do. Yeah,
I can't watch the shows anymore. I don't think I've watched the TV shows for a while. But yeah, it just feels like a slog. When's the next Captain America out? That's in a couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, next week I think.
Valentine's Day.
Oh, it's Valentine's Day.
It's out on the 14th in the UK. I'm sure about America or whatever. But yeah, so I know what I'm doing that romantic day. Lucky wife. It's going to see that. Yeah, it is amazing, the Marvels, because they got so lucky with. I would say they got pretty lucky until Endgame. Nothing majorly went wrong, and there's no huge duds. I mean, and then you've got post Endgame when they were trying to set up the Kang Dynasty, and then you had the Jonathan Majors issue, and there's some other casting issues, and just some films not being good, and they've kind of lost their sparkle a little bit, and the following, the magic maybe, and maybe there's too many of them, and like you said, the homework you have to be when they're trying to tie them into a bigger story, and I think that's why the smaller films sometimes did better. Like I really like the first Ant-Man film. Was really good and really fun. And even the Winter Soldier is a kind of a contained story, a little bit between that one and then Captain America, because you got the whole Bucky thing, and and the Winter Soldier is a cracking character and a good bad guy, which again they turned good. It's Fast and Furious syndrome in that film as well. So yeah, I can kind of see. So how surprised were you watching when you watched it? Did you go and see it in the cinema? Winter Soldier.
No, I didn't actually, because I think everyone after that I saw it at the cinema, but that one I waited and
so that's the one that dragged you back in. Okay,
Yeah, there's it just again Sam Jackson. I think the bit where he apparently dies and goes missing and then comes back.
It's a good scene.
Yeah, it just felt very exciting in a way, and sort of grounded and real. Not real, obviously, but like it had tangible stakes in a way that when it's just people flying around in a blaze of CG.
Yeah. And Scarlett Johansson in it. She's quite good as a Black Widow.
I think that's some of the best ones, isn't it? When you get a Marvel movie that's not, this sounds ridiculous to say, but not too CG heavy. Like it's the ones that are set.
I thought you were going to say not superhero-y.
No, well, that too, but it's the ones that are set in a CG world where everything's CG and it just feels like Quantumania or like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that kind of thing. And it's just, none of it kind of feels like it comes together. Whereas Winter Soldier feels like it could be a thing. You know, it could be something that actually could happen because it's set in this world, not a fantasy world.
Yeah. It's got some good bad guys as well. Daniel Brewer, whatever his name is,
Oh, he's great.
He's really good in that film. I don't think people talk about him. I know he came back again as kind of a good guy in the TV series again.
Oh, the
Falcon. The Falcon.
Yeah. He was good in that. He was good in the franchise. He was the sitcom, the franchise. He was good in that.
The last thing we watched him in was the Paradox Theory that we've had to watch.
The Cloverfield Paradox.
Oh, yes. God.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's very bad.
I think I did watch that. And it just erased it completely from my mind.
That is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
That's the Paradox, yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty terrible.
I think everyone watched it because it was one of the first sequels that they released just out of the blue and there was no warning about
That's
it.
That's right, yeah.
There was like a trailer during the Super Bowl.
And
That's right. I was like, wow, this is cool. And then you're watching like, this is fucking shit.
Yeah, and then there's a reason why you...
Yeah, there's a reason why the studios were trying to sell this and Netflix were like, yeah, we'll have that. And now that's kind of the model somehow we've ran with for the past decade or whatever it's been. Probably not that long. It feels like it sometimes. Oh, sad times.
All of these conversations get very, I think, by their nature. This
was meant to be a positive one. We were meant to say
coming up.
Is it me? Am I the problem? Am I the one who's bringing this down?
No.
I'm blaming Dave. Dave's on a downer today.
It's like, cinema was so good in the 90s. I say 2008 was a good year. Stu, what was your dream sequel?
Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow, or All You Need Is Kill, or whatever it has been called at any point. The Tom Cruise movie where he dies a lot.
Yes.
This is a good choice.
This is a good film. We cannot get negative about this.
Great film. It's a great film. I love that film. And it's been teased so... first, it was a great film that underperformed.
Massively.
So I think... Yeah. I feel like the expectations were it'll do well, make a sequel quickly and carry on that way. And it didn't, people didn't see it as much as they should have done, which is foolish because it's brilliant.
Stu, did you go and see it on the cinema?
Of course I went to see it at the cinema.
Okay, just checking you were one of the good people.
I'm a devotee. And there's always, they keep talking about, there was a quote at one point where they said that they have a sequel idea that will change the way that the film industry thinks of sequels.
Yeah, I've read this.
And I don't know what that means. And why won't they let that happen?
Yeah, where is it? Where is it? I really want that.
Doug Liman said that in 2016.
That's 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've been talking about a sequel for a long time about this. And like you said, I think the reason it didn't happen is because the budget's quite big.
Mm-hmm.
Schedules probably for Cruise and Blunt. And it didn't make enough money. Quite simply. It's one of those films that seem to have found a life on DVD or Blu-ray, or however you want to say it, online. And people are now watching, have you seen that film? I'm like, yeah. Where were you at the beginning? It was fucking great. Everyone wanted to...
When we needed you.
When we needed you.
Come to it late. I think calling it Edge of Tomorrow, that could mean anything.
It's a really bland name, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, what does it... it sort of makes sense, but it feels like it's just they pulled it out of a tombola or something. It's just
Live, Die, Repeat is such a better title. I really wish they'd called it that.
Yeah, and they wanted if there is a sequel, they want to call it Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat.
Yes, yeah. I read that as well. Yeah,
read that. Yeah. Oh, I really hope they make it. Although as much as I love Tom Cruise, like sincerely with all my heart, there must be a point. Like the next film he's making after Mission Impossible is, I think it's an Inarritu film. I think.
Yes, he's going to try and act.
He's trying for an Oscar, isn't he?
That's exactly what it is. So I'm wondering if like his action days are past him now, and he's going to concentrate on the prestige.
Well, you say that, but he's also making that film with Doug Liman, the director of Edge of Tomorrow, set in space, isn't it?
Is that still happening?
I fucking hope so, Stuart. Come on.
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be that's the natural conclusion to Tom Cruise's career, I think, is he goes and shoots in space.
They're the one where they're actually going to go into space, in SpaceX and film it, right? They're going to actually do it.
That's the talk. But we've always had this talk for the last 9 years about a sequel of Edge of Tomorrow. So when you first saw it, did you know much about it when you first saw it, Stu, that first time?
I knew the premise. I knew because it's a Japanese. I don't know if it's a comic book or if it's a novel originally. So I'd read about that. I haven't read it. So I knew what would happen here. I wasn't expecting it to be as funny as it was.
Yeah,
it was there's a bit where it's the same as Groundhog Day, where you have to show a bit where the lead character dies over and over and over again to show that it goes on forever. And there's just one clip where Tom Cruise is figuring out his escape, and he has to drop and roll underneath a truck while it's moving. And there's just a bit where he mistimes it. And he does this sort of girly scream as he dies. He goes, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a cinema. An action hero like Tom Cruise isn't supposed to die yelping.
But he's not an action hero in this, is he? Like
no, he's a full-blown
starts off as rubbish. Yeah.
Very anti-Tom Cruise from the beginning of that film, I would say. A coward.
Yeah.
Very different Tom Cruise to you used to. But, he still gets Chris McQuarrie in to write, doesn't he? Like, Chris McQuarrie kind of came in to write some bits on the script and stuff.
Yes. I don't know where they met. Was this before or after Reacher? I don't know my Tom Cruise timeline yet.
It must be after, surely. Was this?
I don't know.
Because that's where McQuarrie and Tom Cruise met, I believe. Or maybe they met on this. But, McQuarrie keeps saying that, well, only last year he was saying they had the story down for this. They're just waiting for people's schedule to free up. What would you like that sequel to be? Have you got it in your head what you would like to see, or a director you would like to see?
I haven't. I'd like in terms of sort of personality, I'd like the team to reunite.
Yeah,
as the first one, because I think there's that was the chemistry. I don't know what it was like. I would like them to do a Gremlins 2 of it, maybe, and almost sort of overdrive.
Make it mad.
The parody aspect of it, and just have him just like full out getting blown to pieces.
Yeah,
just over and over again for an hour, and just I'm sure that won't be it, because if that isn't going to change the way people think of sequels. It's just 2-hour montage of Tom Cruise getting exploded. But
would they keep that concept, that time loop again, or would that be boring to see again?
I mean, I don't know.
That's the important bit of it, though, right? Like, you need that. You need the time loop. Without the time loop, it's not a movie.
I feel like they'd do something. Maybe, I don't know. It wouldn't be. They wouldn't just do the same day over and over again or something. It would. It would jump to different places. We might never know.
Yeah, which is a shame, but.
Yeah.
Just because I've looked it up, by the way, Jack Reacher was 2012, so 2 years before this.
Okay.
Okay,
so they did meet Reacher, and then they did this. You're not the first person to mention this on Dream Sequel for Edge of Tomorrow. A lot of people are really eager to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's heartening.
Who else has picked it? Al Horner picked it.
Horner picked it. I think Chris Hewitt talked about it for a while.
Oh, good. I'm in good company.
Yeah, he's got good connections to McQuarrie, so hopefully he knows something more than the rest of us. I think there might have been one other, but I can't remember just off the top of my head.
It's definitely a kind of popular one it's one that needs a sequel. It's definitely crying out for one.
They shouldn't do the space thing. The space thing will be shit. The space thing will be like, you know, the motorbike jump from the last Mission Impossible film.
Yeah.
Where the best part of it was watching him do it. And then when it's in a film, it just looks like a sort of a sludgy rubbish. Like,
the making of was better.
Yeah. That's what the space film would be like. I'd watch the making of documentary of Tom Cruise going to space, but I wouldn't watch him float around inside a spaceship.
Yeah.
No.
It's like watching the Avatar films. I'd rather watch them how they made the Avatar films than watch the Avatar films, to be honest. Yeah. And also, is 9 years, has it been too long for a sequel for that one?
That's that. You see, this is one of the things. The longer it goes on, the less confident I am that it will be worth returning to.
But it's all timey-wimey bollocks. So you could do something with that. You could have them older and do stuff. I don't know. Maybe
bit of de-aging. It's getting better.
Maybe a little bit. Like, it is getting better. It is. Like, it's not perfect, but it's possible.
You would need Emily Blunt back as well, would you not?
You definitely would.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That'd be so. You need Cruise, Blunt, Doug Liman, or would you maybe skip out Doug Liman for maybe Macquarie or someone like that?
Lyman, I feel like it's his thing. Let him do it.
You're a very nice.
I like
person.
Chris McQuarrie. I like Chris McQuarrie a lot. But it would be a different film with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the invented film that doesn't exist would be a different film if a different person made it.
Yeah.
Maybe Tom Cruise just doesn't want to make it. Maybe he just doesn't want to do it.
Well, he's the last Mission Impossible didn't do very well, so it can't. He can't just be afraid of failure. And I like the films he does that people didn't see. American Made, was that Doug Liman as well?
Yes, that was Doug Liman as well.
Love American Made.
It's a good film. It's a good film. Oblivion, that's the guy. Oblivion, that's not.
Oh yeah, that was the Top Gun.
Yeah, Joseph.
Apparently, it's still live. Like, so, Edge of Tomorrow 2 or Live, Die, Repeat and Repeat. It's still live at Warner Brothers. It's still classing as in development. Tom Cruise is signed onto it. Same as Emily Blunt and Doug Liman. So
there we go.
Apparently, it's all going. It's going to be a thing.
Good.
According to the internet.
Is that because Maverick was so popular?
I think that's probably got something to do with it.
They've started to look at Tom Cruise's other films they could possibly do sequels to or whatever, and then see if there's any money there.
Are they going to make a Top Gun 3?
That is the rumour as well, yes.
Oh, God. That's a movie that I can very happily live without.
I think the first two are great bits of cinema and they make me very happy. I was very nervous before Maverick because Top Gun means a lot to me and I loved it. But I still think Tom Cruise is now is he past 60 now, isn't he?
Yeah. Tom Cruise is the same age as my dad. So
there you go.
Mid-60s.
We can't put him in a fighter jet for much longer, really. And do we want to see a Top Gun film centered around people that are not Maverick?
No.
I'm not quite sure. I like Glenn Powell.
No, I like him, but
yeah,
he can go and create his own properties. Don't be. Do you remember that stage where Jeremy Renner? They just brought him into all of the films.
It was mad.
Yeah, don't do that. That's bad.
Don't do that. Stop that. Well, they kind of do that with like Sam Worthington had a hot moment. And so did Jay Courtney, had a hot moment for a while. And it seems just to roll on a little bit like a nice looking white man gets a job and then a few years later you kind of forget about him. The only difference between Glenn Powell and Sam Worthington and Jay Courtney is that Glenn Powell can actually act compared to the other two. So fingers crossed. But yeah, I know what you mean. But if they do make a Top Gun 3, I will be there first day and I will be watching it and I will be so fucking excited, really. Again, I'm trying to end on a positive.
That is positive.
I went to the Maverick premiere.
Oh, what was that like?
There you go.
It was I've never been to never been to a premiere before. I've never been to a royal premiere. Prince William came to it.
Ooh.
And it turns out that it's fucking boring as shit. If Prince William's coming to the cinema, you have to just add on 4 hours to the trip.
Oh.
Because they seat you, and then you have to wait for him to go walk. They were showing a live footage of him approaching the cinema, talking to everyone.
Yeah.
And I was exhausted. I was just tired because, I've got kids and I'm a job and I'm an adult. And so you watched him like making his way towards the cinema, shaking hands with everyone, having a chat. And then he gets in the cinema and everyone went, oh, thank God it's happening now. And then you see a line of people inside the cinema and you watch him chat. And then he goes up the escalator and you think, oh, great, it's finished. And then at the top of the escalator, there's more people that he's got to talk to.
Oh, God.
And so, hand on heart, I went with my brother. I took my brother because he likes Tom Cruise too. And just as Prince William sort of got into this auditorium, we realised that the seats reclined. They were like electric reclining seats.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, the seats reclined. And 10 minutes into Maverick, I fell asleep.
Oh,
which I realised because it was just so comfortable and I'd been sitting there for so long. So I didn't make it through the whole film. But the bits I saw I liked, and I've watched it all subsequently. I went to see the cinema afterwards and I stayed awake for all of it. And it's a great film.
Well done.
I went to watch it, a bit like Dave. I was really worried that it was going to be rubbish. I was really worried. And then about, I'd say, all of a minute into it, I'm like, this is going to be great.
As soon as the music starts.
As soon as the music kicks in, I'm like, I'm here.
As soon as the music, it was the roar of the engines on the ship.
Yeah.
And even I was excited, but then I was like, oh, but I'm reclining and it's a comfy seat and it's dark.
Was it the Leicester?
Full on dad mode.
Was it the Leicester Square Odeon?
Yeah.
I've fallen asleep in those seats as well before.
They're too comfortable.
Yeah, I was covering some stuff at the London Film Festival once, and I was watching the Bruce Springsteen film, the first one he released, and I watched like a lot of films for like a week, and I think I had some other stuff going on at home, and his just soft voice and the music just sent me right off. And like you, I was just out for it. I had a lovely time, a lovely nap, lovely sleep. It also reminds me of the time I went to a thing for was it the last Pirates of the Caribbean? And I got tickets and I didn't know it was like a special screening, but we had a link up to Disneyland Paris and we had to wait for Johnny Depp. Like he took hours to turn up.
Oh God.
And there's loads of people on our screen getting really angry. Like, we're just going to leave because we just want to watch the film. We got tickets for the film. We didn't think we were going to have this special Johnny Depp link up to Paris, whatever. It's fucking nightmare sometimes. But positive.
People don't understand.
No.
People don't understand how hard it is sometimes to wait for a little while to watch a film.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Our jobs are the worst.
Those were Stuart Heritage's Unequal Sequels. I still can't say Heritages.
Yeah, Heritages. Lovely guy, though.
Oh,
great
amazing.
Guy.
Amazing.
We had such a laugh on that episode.
We really did. It was a great time.
Did it get out of control? Maybe a little.
Maybe slightly.
That's fine. That's fine when that happens. We're all having a laugh.
Yeah.
I hope people, when they listen it back, enjoy it as much as when we're recording it.
Me too.
Because for us, that's the best bit, when we get to record and talk to these people and just have a good time.
I think this season I have enjoyed recording like even more than I have in previous seasons. Like I love recording. I love recording with our guests and getting to meet them and talk to them. But it's really felt easy so far this season. I think our guests have been so amazing that it's just been a nice, easy chat. And when it's finished, I've thought, we could be friends.
We could be friends. Yeah, I know, right? Because best sequel, he picked Gremlins 2. So the Gremlins train continues.
Yeah.
Could this be the Gremlins series?
I think it could be.
Each season, there always seems something that pops up that hasn't popped up before.
And it comes up a lot. Yeah, you keep seeing it. So, yeah, maybe this is the Gremlins season, which I am down with.
Oh, yeah. Gremlins 2 is great.
Yeah.
Obviously. Love Gremlins
I mean, it's
2.
Insane, but it's great.
What I loved in that episode is that, okay, when we talked Dream sequel in our Christmas episode, we talk about that bit when Hulk Hogan stops the cinema in the film.
Yeah.
And then we also learned that in the DVD VHS, the Gremlins kidnap the Christopher Lee character.
Yes.
For the VHS. We now found out in the book, The Gremlins 3, what is it not?
Gremlins 2 book, the novelisation.
Yeah, Gremlins novelisation. The Gremlins kidnap the author of the book.
Yeah.
How good's that?
I know, right? It's so good.
How good is that? So good. Gremlins 2 is always a delight to watch.
We are getting some Gremlins deep cuts in this podcast, man.
We really are. We should make a Gremlins podcast. Especially if there is a Gremlins 3 coming out in real life, which...
There could be.
It could be. That's the rumour. You're welcome, world. But then we had to talk about Fast X.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious 10.
I don't know if Fast X makes my worst list. It certainly does make my disappointing list, though. You know, because it's bad, isn't it? Like,
it's fun bad though in places.
It's fun bad, and I'm very forgiving of the Fast and Furious franchise. I think it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy most of those movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fast X is poo.
Do you know what's making it worse for me at the moment?
Yeah.
It's the lack of Fast 11.
Yeah. That is the problem, isn't it, really?
The slow movement of a film that ends on a cliffhanger. Nearly, literally. And there seems to be no rush. It feels a little bit like Rise of Skywalker. They made this film and then didn't have an ending for it, and now we're all fucked.
Yeah. I think you could be right there, buddy.
Maybe if my Fast 11 comes out and is okay and good, I will reflect better on Fast X 10.
Yeah.
But at the moment, not great. Even though I love John Cena's fun uncle in it.
Me too. Yeah.
Best thing in it,
I
think.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. He's the best thing in it.
We also got to talk about dream sequels about The Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
The Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt.
This is a popular choice, right? I think this has been mentioned a couple of times, isn't it?
It's definitely been mentioned a couple of times, and it's a great film. It's a film that's been rumoured for a sequel for many years now.
Yeah, it's one you could definitely do a sequel for, isn't it? Like, you know, there's ways.
Has it missed that moment, though? By saying that?
Maybe.
Top Gun Maverick, don't rule anything out.
No.
Tom Cruise is the man. Fingers crossed. One day it might suddenly appear once Cruise is out of Mission Impossible and he needs to find some other action-y films to do when he's not doing his Oscar bait awards bait films that he's about to try and do, hopefully, fingers crossed, and wins some shit.
That would be nice. Yeah. You like Tom Cruise. We know that.
But all great, pretty good films this time. It was nice to watch those three films. Gremlins 2, Fast X. It's not the worst. It's not the worst sequel I've had to sit through recently. And Edge of Tomorrow, good compared to next week. I liked it. What do you think?
What, Edge of Tomorrow? Yeah. I think it was good. Definitely. Yeah, a good solid choice, and I want a sequel to it. I want to see that sequel.
Me too. Thank you, Stuart, for coming on the podcast and picking your best, worst, and dream sequel. If you haven't checked out Stu's work, go check it out. He's been writing for The Guardian since 2009.
Wow.
A lot of great pieces. As you can hear at the beginning of that episode, he got to go to last year's Oscars and cover that for them. He also gets 2 cakes from Tom Cruise that one day I will talk to him about.
Wild.
And he's also writes books for children and adults.
Yes, I can highly recommend Bedtime Stories for Worried Liberals.
Is that a good one?
It is a good one, definitely.
Is that a children's book?
No, it's not a children's book. It's a grown-ups book.
Okay.
But there's some good children's books in there too.
Like Jonathan the Magic Pony and Don't Say Elephant. And then obviously his other book, Bald.
Yeah, there's Bald, which is all about how he came to terms with being a bald man.
I am looking at pictures of him on Google, and there are pictures of him with hair and without hair. But lovely man. We had a great time with him.
Yeah, we
great
did.
Picks.
Really good time.
Great laugh. Great sequel sessions. So go check that out.
Yeah, you can go and check out the sequel sessions, the extra bits for all these episodes on anotherslice.com/unequal sequel. It's $2.99 a month to join up, which is an absolute bargain for what you get for your money. You get sequel sessions for all our interview episodes. That's extra bits for us chatting to our guests. And sometimes we go to amazing places and talk about amazing chats, have amazing chats. So do that. Make sure you get over to unequalsequel.com/unequalsequel. You'll also get some extra podcasts over there from us. So you'll get Brockset Mentality and Disenfranchised, where we talk about movies that should have had sequels but didn't, and we watch a whole box set worth of movies and talk to you about all about those too. If you don't have $2.99 a month at the moment, that is absolutely fine. It will cost you absolutely nothing to subscribe to this podcast, and doing so means we'll drop into your pod player of choice every single week. It will also help other people find the podcast too. So please do that for us. It will also cost you nothing to give us a 5-star review. So just go onto your pod player of choice, click those 5 stars, because once we get to 200 odd reviews, we can become Rotten Tomatoes certified critics, which is where we really want to be. That's where we want to be. Let us know what you thought of Stuart's picks. We're on all the social medias apart from the bad one. Type in Unequal Sequel and you'll find us on there. We don't use the bad one anymore. Or if you don't use social media at all, which is probably very wise of you, then go on, get on the email. We're unequalsequel@hotmail.com. Yes, that's Hotmail. Yes, we're off of the 90s.
Hotmail's cool, right?
No, of course it's not.
I don't know what the other options were when we signed up for it, so
Google,
seems like the right
Gmail.
No, we're cooler than Gmail. Come on, we're cool people, young, hip, cool people.
Hotmail, right? Okay.
Thank you for everyone that listens and comments and sends their thoughts in. We really do appreciate them and love hearing all your amazing, funny thoughts. So keep them coming. Next week, we move on to Season 8, Episode 4. It's another cracker. So something to look forward to. Pencil in your diary. Get ready for it. Do what you have to do. Just be prepared. And I've got nothing else to say. So it's a goodbye from me. Bye-bye. And it's a goodbye from him.
Bye.
See you in the next one. Sequel to this one. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
3 episodes down, buddy.
Smashing it. Smashing it. God, it feels good to be alive at the moment. And one of these, we might, it's going to come up pretty soon, the British Independent Podcast Awards, and we are throwing our hat in the ring this year for that bad boy.
Yeah, baby.
I don't know what clips we're going to use. If anyone can suggest some, let us know.
Yeah. What are your favourite bits? Tell us
so far,
so that we
can
use them to enter.
Yeah, because we're too lazy to go back and listen to it.
No, we just care about our audience and their opinions.
Yeah, that's true.
Not lazy, thoughtful.
Thoughtful.